expect so many people for breakfast. I'm going to make some more eggs. One.
We didn't.
Oh, okay. You know, this past week, we updated our directives, and our power of attorney has to be updated every 3 years. And as I was thinking about all the directives that we want for our end-of-life situations, I thought, there's still things that you and I need to talk about.
Right.
So I thought I'd make this breakfast special by inviting all these guests. and we could have a nice conversation about, end-of-life things, like, what do you think of afterlife?
Well, whoops. Let me see. Well, I can approach this indirectly. A random sperm, one of 300 million that my father ejaculated on a random occasion, happened to combine with one of my mother's eggs on a random occasion, and I was the result. So I'm just one of billions of random happenings.
Oh, Leon,
over half a million years.
I didn't marry a random union of sperm and egg. I married you.
Are you sure? In my opinion, it's the height of arrogance to believe that one is chosen or born again or selected to be in a heaven after death. By the way, speaking of after death, I'm a great believer in same compost. My ashes will enter our ecosystem once you take them off the mantelpiece and distribute them. And my elements will be recirculated. You know, all my life I've wanted to help others, so I think you should put my ashes in a snow removal bin.
A cinder.
Yeah.
A cinder.
I believe in that the only heaven and hells are the ones that happen here on earth, and my immortality is whatever people remember about me, either positively or negatively, or whatever positive things I've done in my professional career that are carried on.
I agree with that. I think death will be a total surprise to me. If anything happens at all, it'll be a total surprise. If I get to see Jesus or Mother and Dad or anybody like that, I'll be totally surprised. If I don't, I won't be surprised. You've been a nursing home ombudsman for several years now. What things have you learned from talking to people in assisted living or end-of-life situations?
Well, the average age for a nursing home resident or an assisted living resident is 83, and since I'm several years older than that, then they're my colleagues. And I find that they all have fascinating life experiences to relate. Some of them can't or won't, but that's because of dementia or depression.
To be ready for, huh?
Yes. Very few of them have originated any advanced directives. I don't know why, because the death rate is very high for this group. My colleagues. in some cases, a fiduciary or a relative has done that. You know, many of them talk about a supreme being who's going to make the final decisions for their death and afterlife.
So they leave it all to God.
Yes, and one more thing.
Yes.
One thing that I'm really pleased about is the emotion I get of gratitude that I don't yet suffer from the diseases and disabilities of my colleagues.
Good.
Especially, what do you call it? What's the word? Had it on my tip of my tongue? Oh yes, dementia. Oh.
Yes. I think about that movie we saw about Darwin's life on television, and how grief and loss of family was totally constant every year, every day that they had to suffer, and they were so much closer to death than we are. It seems like we can really avoid it and ignore it for forever if we want to. But I want to plan a little better than that. And I think we've been lucky to have such a nice, happy, long life together and in this congregation and in our families. But you've had many losses in your family, more than I. I'm lucky that I haven't had losses directly in my family. Tell me how you feel about the loss of your family members.
Well, in addition to my parents, I've lost a sister and a brother and a child and a wife. When I lost Grace, my first wife, as you will know, I felt wounded and cheated, and I thought I was the most unfortunate person in the world. And I was talking with another man and complaining, and he told me he just lost his wife and he was dying of melanoma. Well, that kind of stopped me. So I really changed my thinking and thought in a way to take care of myself better and establish new relationships. You know, when you have a loss, it sort of brings up all the other losses that you've had previous to that. But I think once you learn to grieve, you do a little better each time. What do you think about the afterlife?
Well, the afterlife is going to be non-issue here. I don't think there is one, but I'm more interested in this life. And I know my mother felt when she was dying, she told me, she said, you're not afraid of dying if you know where you're going. Well, I'm not afraid, but I hope it isn't soon.
Was there a difference in the way you grieved for your mother than there was the way you grieved for your father?
Yes, I had different relationships. I was very close to my mother. She taught me a lot. She was a teacher, and she taught me all the cooking skills and homemaking skills and things like that. And when she's gone, I was tearing up for a year, it seemed like. And what I felt the loss most about was the loss of her memories. I couldn't go to her and ask her, who's this picture? Who's this person? What did this person do? Where was our family come from? And things like that. So I felt that loss. But with my father, I had to get over a lot of youthful anger when I had to care for him for many years after my mother died, and treat him as a different person, another person than the one I grew up with, so that I could treat him kindly and forgive him and forgive myself, so that I could be a good advocate for him and take care of him and do things that he needed doing. he was totally non-compass mentis when it came to financial planning or planning for his life. Fortunately, I was able to garner all the resources that were available to him so that he had a good care and good surrounding family and things like that.